3, 2, 1.
You know what I feel like doing?
What?
I feel like kicking back, relaxing, getting comfy. Welcome to Get Comfy on the Throne, or Get Comfy Incorporated's own show about Game of Thrones, because it was bound to come eventually.
Absolutely.
I was just waiting for something.
Pew, pew, pew.
I was waiting on something better.
I couldn't think of any inappropriate joke right now. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, there was one set up, but we'll move past that.
On
There
the
you go.
throne? Blumpkin?
No.
I got you there.
Is that what they do in Winterfell? But speaking of Winterfell,
See.
we just got through it.
Oh my gosh,
We
bro.
just got through it, but everything we said leading up to the Battle of Winterfell was absolutely wrong.
Totally.
We said Grey Worm was dead.
You were wrong. I told
was-
you they were not gonna die.
But I was right about one. I was right about Jorah.
Yeah.
I was right.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
But moving forward, nice. That was Amanda from the Get Comfy podcast.
I'm thirsty.
We had our pool of who was dying, who wasn't. Jorah was one of them.
Yeah.
Grey Worm didn't die. I guess he's gonna go see the beaches. You know,
I went to see the beach.
right? His accent is weird,
I love it. You know he's actually British and he
Yeah.
raps and sings.
dude.
He's cute too. I wouldn't mind taking him out to dinner, you know?
Take him out to dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But
Totally.
again, you know, with every podcast, because I know I don't want to just go on without saying this, spoilers. Major spoilers. Because, you know, we're doing a review. This is our thoughts on the episode. And let me just say, to start this episode off as through the eyes of Sam, like he's very scared, he's kind of going all over the place.
He's a bougie.
He honestly is. Through the whole battle.
Yo, he's a fucking punk, bro.
I know.
Like
I know.
fucking punk.
Through the whole battle, he was just kind of rolling around. He was kind of crying. He kind of was.
Bro, he got
definitely was.
dogpiled, I think, what, like 3 times?
Like 6 different times.
He got dogpiled a lot. And I was watching a video about, like, kind of like a
Yeah.
recap of the episode. And they were saying how, nice Amanda, they were saying how he literally got dogpiled, like, the most. Out of everyone who got dogpiled, he got dogpiled the most.
Yeah, so I was actually so into this episode, I made notes. I have a full, like, short list of notes. I kind of want, because I didn't want to miss anything.
Right.
So,
I couldn't breathe.
Yeah,
I couldn't breathe during the episode.
I was stress drinking during this whole episode.
My heart rate was like just all over the
the
place. Yeah, I was like cold sweating. It was a very, very like physical and emotional episode for me.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, this whole episode kind of just started building tension. It was quiet. The music was setting in.
Yeah.
And the battle starts off with Melisandre coming in and saying this weird spell that lights all the Dothraki blood riders, I think they're called,
Yeah.
their swords with fire. The shot of the episode that I love the most is when all those guys are riding into the darkness. And then all of a sudden, you see Dany and Jon on the hill with their dragons.
Right.
But then you see the fire slowly going out.
Like it's like boop, 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 boop,
And it
boop,
was at
boop,
that
boop.
point, I was like, fuck yeah, they're going to fuck all of them up. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, wait, this is Game of Thrones. This isn't going to go well.
They're gonna get fucked up. Dude, did you see? Okay, first of all, a lot of people mentioned that this episode was like too dark to see.
I want to hit on that.
Which is true. It totally was. And when I did see the Dothraki, can't speak.
Dothraki.
You know, these
Those
people.
are those people.
Word. When I did see them kind of like bump into
The White Walker.
the White Walkers, bro, it freaked me the fuck out.
So
That was rough because it looked like a tidal wave over them.
Yeah.
Because they just went head first, and then that's when and then when they start riding back, Ser Jorah's face, I was like,
I thought he was dead.
Same. I was like, they all died. But then like literally you see like 5 of them ride back.
I thought Jorah was dead because you didn't really see his face and he had blood on it. And
I was like, he's a White Walker. I was like,
I said
nah.
my goodbye to him. I was like, he's already dead, but he wasn't. So I'm glad that you brought up the fact that the episode was too dark. You know, I was watching the making of the episode, or was it called Making Thrones or some shit?
Right.
The guy that made this battle, we talked about Lord of the Rings. He
Yes.
did that battle too. He directed that.
Oh shit.
He directed,
Wow.
what's it called? The one where all the zombies are falling off the cliff. Not Winterfell.
World War Z.
No, it was like,
Actually, my friend and I, we spoke about that because we have 2 friends come over to watch
Yeah.
it, and one of my friends, we were talking about how when they're later on,
yeah.
I'm jumping a little bit, but when they're climbing up
the castle wall.
I was like, yo, it's legit World War Z, like the same thing.
Yeah, the guy that coordinated this battle also did Battle of the Bastards and Heart Home, the one where the Night King raises his hands.
Right, yeah.
So there was that. Now, I want to bring up, because you said it was too dark. As, like, I've taken a lot of film classes, and this is the film snob coming out of me, because I'm like, oh, the
That's
shots.
like one.
Yeah, I'm like, the shots, whatever.
Right.
The whole point of those shots, the darkness, again, it's medieval times. There's no street lights. There's nothing, really.
There's just fire, and you can only see like 5 feet in front of you.
The fire, that was like the main source of light. Also, at the same point, it's meant to make the whole battle seem like a very stressful, very confusing way, because
you can't see.
It was cutting in between different people fighting, and I couldn't
Right.
keep track. I didn't know if it was Sam fighting. I didn't know if it was Tormund fighting, Jorah. Like, I didn't know. I already said that I thought Jorah was dead. I was already like, that's it.
But I feel like like the storyline, they wouldn't have let him die like that.
Yeah. So I want to, like, I don't get that, the whole argument that it was too dark. But again, some TV screens are different. I watched it completely in the dark, and I was, because, like, I take this shit. Like, especially
No,
that.
I mean, so did we. But the thing is, though, what we do is we connect it from my sister's laptop to
Okay.
our TV.
Yeah.
So, like, it did get lost a little bit there.
Yeah.
But I do get what you're saying and how the fire was supposed to be the main. Like, obviously, it's pitch freaking black.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, there's no way. The only
not supposed
fire
to
you're
see
gonna
it.
see is literally Winterfell and then the dragons.
And I think it added a level of horror, because you didn't see any of the whites.
You couldn't.
At all.
No.
You only seen them when they were at that shot where Grey Worm was getting ready to drop the trench, and then they were coming.
Bro, that was so hard for me. I felt so bad.
Yeah, because, I mean, before that happened, the first death, or kind of main character death, was Ed from the Night's Watch. I finally know his name now after
Yeah.
he died.
I know. I was like, oh, that's his name.
I was like, Elf Man. That's what I always call him. He
But
looks like an elf.
After the fact that, like, but he died because of Sam.
Yeah, because Sam was kind of being a bitch and was like,
Took the words right out of my mouth.
yeah,
Sam's
he was
being
just
a bitch.
like crying, and then he's like, get up, Tarly, or Tolly,
Yeah,
whatever
and then
his name is.
he gets stabbed in the back of the head, comes out his eye.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Ed.
Word.
That's the first death of the whole battle. So as time goes on, you know, it's just starting to look like they're losing. That's all it is.
They were losing.
They
because they were.
Yeah, and you know, there was that whole thing where Dany and Jon were on the hill, and she seen that the Dothraki were getting beat the fuck up,
She got triggered, and
she's like, "I need to go. The dead are
Yeah.
here." But the whole plan, the plan was for them to stay on the hill. When they see the Night King, then they'll go.
yeah.
Dany decided, "Fuck the plan. I'm going to
She
save
was
my
like,
people."
I'm losing. Yeah, she was like, I'm losing my people.
So she went off. And then this is kind of where the whole idea of Jon, like, falling in love with Dany starts coming in. Because originally, if this was season 7, season 6 Jon Snow, he would have stayed to the plan.
Totally.
And like they said, they corrupted each other, and like the love is starting to take over.
And he was like, I can't just leave my lady like that. I gotta, I gotta follow her.
So they went up in the sky.
He was like, because if she dies, my whole...
Yeah, exactly. So there was that. Now they're in the sky shooting fire down, and we're kind of seeing the retreat happen.
Yeah.
The Unsullied were left in front of the trench, and Grey Worm is the one who decided to go back and drop the trench, and they couldn't light the fire because the whole winter storm was coming in by the Night King.
Yeah, so the Night King used that once I guess he saw that, like, they actually were holding their own and were getting, enough kills in.
Yeah.
But also, like, that took a lot from the people at Winterfell.
Yeah.
Because they were like, shit, like, we can't see
No.
anything.
Dany and Jon clashed in the sky with their dragons.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a foreshadowing of their clash over the throne.
Yeah.
Even though Jon definitely doesn't want it.
No,
like,
he
that's
doesn't.
been his whole
But then
shtick.
it's like, regardless of the fact, like, if he stays with Dany, regardless, he's going to be a king.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
It's
'Cause-
weird.
Yeah,
It's
because,
weird.
like, technically in, like, the monarchy, like, with Queen Elizabeth, she's a queen.
Yeah.
Her husband's a prince.
And they can really just keep it between themselves that he's not Targaryen, or
Right.
that he is Targaryen.
Yeah.
So they can kind of just be like, yeah, he is a Stark. He doesn't deserve the throne. He's the king of the North.
Yeah.
So to get back to this episode, we moved on to the retreat. And this is when Jaime...
Who starts the retreat? That's what I'm... Like, I was kind of fuzzy on it.
I think it starts with, Jaime or Brienne saying...
Brienne's the second to be like, yeah, retreat. I can't remember.
It's because, that
It's fuzzy,
episode
yeah.
is all over the
Anyway,
place.
they start retreating, and then once the first person yells out retreat, then Brienne follows, and then Tormund, I think?
Tormund starts leading people back, but there was that nice moment between Arya and the Hound where the Hound was getting chased by Whites, and she shoots the arrow.
And it barely misses him, but gets the...
But it shows you
White.
that the Hound is being protected by Arya.
Yeah.
So there was that nice moment. So now everyone's kind of retreating into the castle.
And then the Unsullied Grey Worm says to protect the retreat. So
Yes.
they're doing that, so they're marching forward.
Yes, so there is that whole retreat happening.
Right.
So now we're up on the wall, the
I feel
very
like
front wall.
the Unsullied is back up.
Well, the Unsullied, too, are kind of just they got to do what they got to do. They don't
Word.
care. They're going to take orders.
Because that's what they were,
Yeah.
in all honesty, that's what they were bred for.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
they just listen to people.
Yeah.
So we're on top of the wall with Arya, Brienne of Tarth, and Jaime.
Jaime's up there too.
There was that nice interaction where actually, even before the retreat,
Yeah.
Brienne was getting stormed.
Brienne's getting dogpiled, and Jaime comes and he's like, "No, my big lady."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Fa," because that's my homeboy.
And there
or
was
homegirl,
that.
whatever.
And then the same thing happened to Jaime.
Not
Not even
and
a
then
few
she
seconds
goes,
later.
Yeah, and then she goes and she's like, "Nah, blah 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 blah."
There was that.
Sound effects and all.
Yeah. Also, just a little thing to hit on before the battle even started. Sansa and Arya were on top of the wall.
Yeah.
Sansa got, I think it was needle, or was it just a plain
No,
dragon
it was
glass
a
dagger?
dragon glass dagger that Arya had given her, and then Sansa's like, "What do I do with this?" And then they were like, "Stick him with a pointy end," and I was like, "Ha, funny."
But that is reminiscent to what Jon Snow said
Yep.
to Arya in
Yep.
season 1 with needle.
Yep.
Stick him with the pointy end. So there was that.
Yeah.
Now
Sansa's a pussy too.
a little bit.
But I feel like, but the thing is though, Sansa always wanted to be a princess. She's very feminized.
She's more political versus physical. She's kind of like Davos, where he can hold his own in a political sense, but when it comes to fighting, and he even said it, I'm not built for war.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm kind of like, how did he survive? And
Yeah.
because he's been on the wall.
Right.
But to get more further into the battle, to kind of move it along, we got the Whites already in the castle. Then all of a sudden the door breaks down, and this is leading up to our second death.
With the fucking giant. I totally forgot that Jon burned what's his face's bone. His giant
it's like Sun Sun or something like that.
or yeah.
Sun. I know that's not the name, but it's like two of the same words repeated. That's all I remember. So
or 1-1 or something like that.
1-1.
There we go.
1-1. I knew it was
so
like
I know,
something.
So then I thought it was him until I was like, wait, no, I don't think so.
That was just some other giant
Yeah,
they accumulated
so-
along the way.
What really struck a nerve for me was when Lady Mormont.
Died.
She was in Winterfell. She was her people. She had 6 or 8 dudes around. She had a lot of people around her, obviously. So she had people surrounding her to protect her, right?
Yeah.
And then freaking that big ass giant bust through, and he's like, bust down Tatiana,
just wiped the floor with everybody up
yeah,
front.
and then she got whacked first.
Yeah.
He walked in and then just whacked her, and she went flying somewhere, right? So when that happened, I was like, no, I was like, she can't. And then he starts whacking up everyone. So then she gets up and she's like, battle cry,
Yeah.
And then he picks her up and he starts squeezing her.
And you hear the crunch.
And you hear her getting crunched. Her lungs are, slowly collapsing. She's a small girl. And then I thought they were she was going to die right then and there.
Thrown to the side.
I did not expect her to stab that giant in the fucking eye. I was like, fuck yeah.
In the behind the scenes of that episode, they said that they wanted to give the smallest character besides Tyrion
Yeah.
in the castle. The biggest moment of the episode.
They didn't just want to kill her off. Yeah, they didn't just want to kill her off because she's a child, you know. She held her own against all the other lords, you know, of the North. And she was like, fuck y'all. It goes back to the previous season, I think. When she's like, my mom wasn't some pretty, like, dandy lady, whatever. She was like, my mom was a warrior. She's like, and I'm going to hold my own. And even Ser Jorah was like, cousin, you're the rest of our... That house died. Yeah. That house is gone.
Everybody.
House of Mormon is done.
It makes me so sad.
And
it's really sad.
It's worth noting that whenever they first started it's episode 2 where she's like, no, I'm gonna fight.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a moment where we kind of overlooked it.
Yeah,
and it was like that's right, the writing on the wall.
Yeah, we're like, oh, like that's fine, like she's gonna fight, but like, you know, she won't have to. I feel like that's what a lot of people were like, nah, she's good.
And originally, the plan was for that not to even happen. She was just going to get one-offed. But then she accumulated a following, and everyone liked her.
Yeah.
So there was that death. That's death number 2. There was 4 in total. So I also want to hit on the next point of this whole episode where, you know, stuff is just going down. There's whites everywhere.
Shit hit the fan when they, like... What was it? They were protecting the upper like wall, like the bridge of Winterfell, and I forgot who got killed, and then they just started coming up through there.
Yeah.
They started, but that's after the fact that they light the trench on fire. This episode's a little all over the place because it was a lot. It was a lot to take in.
Yeah, it was hard to
So everyone knows that there's like that winter storm going on, right?
Yeah.
There's like you can't see anything. Maybe your hand in front of your face.
Yeah.
So I guess part of their plan was that, like, you know, if the White Walkers got close enough, Sir, what's his face? Oh, fuck, I can't remember.
Who? Davos?
Yeah, Davos. Davos was, like, supposed to signal them and be like, yo, like, this bitch on fire, and...
Brilliant.
But obviously they couldn't, so then the archers started going for it, but since it was so windy and so wintry, they weren't sticking. So... Yeah. Then what ended up happening, Melisandre again, because in the beginning of the episode, she told...
Jorah.
No, Davos.
Oh, yeah.
She told Davos,
I'm gonna be dead by
don't kill me because I'm going to be dead by dawn.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. I thought she was going to get killed.
Yeah.
We'll get to her death later.
Yeah.
But when Melisandre came out, I was like, oh, all right. I was like, all right, you go, girl. Like, you know, you give them fire, whatever. So when the White Walkers start getting closer and Grey Worm pulls the trench... They can't light it.
Yeah.
So she comes out, which I thought was super dope that she had like an Ansali like kind of barricade, escort. And so she's there and she's at the trench. She's trying to light it on fire and she sees the whites getting closer. I was literally about to break every single nail I had on my fingers because I was like, "Oh my god, like is she going to be able to light it? What's going to happen?" Like it was freaking me out. And you see it in her face.
She's losing her faith.
She's losing her faith. And she's scared. You can see the fear. Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of people that were like kind of fighting against the whites, that's what you saw. You saw the pure fear in their face that they're like, we're at here guns blazing. Like that's what they had to do. And then luckily she did light the trench on fire, but it only kept them out for a slight while, and the White Walkers didn't push through the trench.
Yes. And now that we're kind of inside Winterfell, we're going to go to the next big talking point of the episode, which is when Arya was in a little bit of trouble because she was holding off the White Walkers with her giant spear that can break off into 2 parts.
Super dope. She was kicking ass. She was kicking super ass.
She got like knocked into a wall and she hit her head.
She got clubbed by one of the White Walkers and she knocked herself into the wall because it hit her.
She was in shock, and then I guess she ran over and she was sliding down this rooftop.
Yeah, she was trying to like avoid the whites because she was getting like followed by like a chunk of White Walkers.
And in this moment, at the same time, the Hound is losing his shit because of all the fire. He has a big fear of fire.
He's bugging the fuck out at this point.
And this is where Beric, out of all people, said like, "Hey, get your shit together.
Word.
If the fire doesn't like affect you, how about that?" And he points to Arya getting swarmed.
Yeah, because he was like, "Stop being a giant puss."
Yeah.
And like, come on. And he was like, "Nah." Like the Hound was like, "Fuck you. Like I'm
We're dead.
freaking yeah. He's like fuck it. Like he threw in the towel, and then that's when they do see Arya, and she's still going for it.
Yeah.
And then
he runs after her.
yeah, and then he runs after her, and they both run after her.
Yeah.
And then they're like, she can't die.
Yeah.
Like this is not like we have a duty to protect her. The same as like Brienne said, the Hound also, even though like they had their like discord or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're like, she cannot die. She like we have to protect her.
This is the Hound's ascent to a good person.
Yeah.
Because he's done some bad shit in the past.
Yeah.
But then this is where it starts transitioning to the horror movie. Because as the guy said, the first part was a thriller, the middle part was a horror movie, and then the rest was action. So this is when Arya is in the library, and she is completely defenseless. The
Yeah.
whites are all around her, and she's
I didn't
trying-
even realize like when she got into the library. There was just so many things going on.
Yeah, so she ran into the building, and at this time, she's kind of trying to avoid everybody because she doesn't have any defense. So
Because
this,
she got freaked out because she got knocked out.
yeah, and
so
that's like
she's-
kind of the first time she really got shown up.
Where she was like, oh fuck, like she's not. They did this in the review where she's not at 100%.
No.
You know, and she's still trying to defend her home.
Yeah, so she ran away from all the whites in the library, but she also found out that was the wrong way to go because
Yeah.
a bunch of whites were coming in through another hallway.
Yeah, through another door.
In comes the Hound and Barrack to
Can we
save
talk
her.
about how she killed that white?
Oh, she just fucking
Yo, honestly, I
stabbed
was
it.
like, oh shit! Like it caught me so off guard. I was like, fuck.
So then in comes the
That was
Hound
gross,
and Barrack.
though.
Oh yeah, I was like,
ooh, that's
and-
gnarly.
and it fell on her.
Yeah, and I was like,
bleeding all over.
ooh, blood.
So when Barrack and the Hound come in, they're kind of running away. They're trying.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just survival. That's all you got to do.
Absolutely.
Just run away.
But then Barrack throws his sword.
And
And
that
I was
was-
like, no, get your shit. Like, he still had enough time to get it.
And then this is the thing that comes after. I think he knew. He
Yeah.
knew his purpose was done, and he knew that the only thing he needed to do at this moment
Was save Arya.
was get Arya away.
Yeah.
So again, this is an imagery.
Yeah.
Being a film
I
student,
mean, he's getting shanked at this point,
trying
too.
like visualizing a shot. Barrack is holding his two hands to his left and right, just out wide. Again, this can be like considered a martyr dying on the cross for his
Right.
purpose.
Right.
So there's Barrack. He's not dead fully yet, but he's
No.
getting shanked the fuck up.
OD.
And he's pretty much dead.
He's taking it, though.
So they get to, I think it was like the room where they were giving Jaime his trial, like that main corridor.
The throne room.
The throne room. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
or
they're-
like dining hall? I don't know.
something
yeah.
like that. So in that room, Melisandre's standing there. Barrack is dead. There's our third death.
Yeah, he dies. Which
It's-
I cried.
Yeah, it was a nice
cried,
moment
bro.
between Arya because he was on the list and he got taken off, and
Yeah.
now it's kind of like he gave his life for Arya,
Mm-hmm.
which now the prophecy starts with
Yeah.
Melisandre, because back in season 4, season 3, she says to Arya, because
You're-
they've met before,
Yeah.
you're going to close eyes. You're going to close brown eyes, green eyes, and blue
Blue
eyes.
eyes.
No one really knew what the blue eyes meant because it's kind of like, I mean, we knew of the White Walkers, but
But there are other people with blue eyes in the show.
and it's kind of a thing everyone forgot.
Yeah.
I didn't remember it, and I'm a
No.
huge Game of Thrones fan. I
Word.
was like,
yeah, no, I honestly, it's been years. I can't remember.
And then she's like, what do we say to the death god or something along those lines?
Not. I honestly thought they were gonna be like, not today, Satan.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, ooh, drag queen reference.
So,
But yeah, when she said that, not today, I was like, some badassery is about to happen.
so then she runs off.
Right.
And that's a moment where, like, going into, like, the rest of the episode, I completely forgot. We're going to hit on that point later.
Yeah.
But the next point we're trying to hit on is whenever Dany and Jon and the Night King are battling in the sky, a fucking dragon fight.
You want to know
Holy
something funny?
shit.
Okay, so that scene where they're above the clouds, above the
Amazing.
the winter storm,
Yeah.
did it not remind you of How to Train Your Dragon?
They're above, moonlit.
when Toothless is up, the moon is shining.
Yeah.
And they're above the clouds, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, honestly, screenshot it and like compare it to How to Train Your. It's literally the same
Yeah.
visual, which is super funny to me. But
Yeah, so there was that. Viserion, I think that's the dragon,
Yeah.
the undead dragon. He got his face fucked up. I mean,
Yeah,
Drogon and Aegal. No, what's the other dragon?
Rogan? No.
Drogon is Dany's
Is
dragon.
Danny's? Yeah, he's the biggest.
I keep forgetting the third.
I feel like Viserion is John.
No, Viserion is the one that died.
Viserion's the-
is the
Fuck, I
Night
can't
King's
remember.
dragon. So in
Someone
this
Google this.
Yeah, in this fight, the Viserion got his face fucking clawed
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
I mean,
where
there
it was, he was half face.
Yeah. So they both drop,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where the point where I thought John's dragon's dead, but then I realized he just kind of fell. Like he kind of is like,
Yeah,
all
they
right, I
both
need
they
to-
fell. It's like if a knight were to fall off his horse, the horse would kind of run away, and then
Yeah,
like
so
regroup.
that whole dragon fight was fucking amazing.
Oh,
I
dude.
was like, this is
when
so badass.
when Danny and John were up above the clouds, and I was like, where the fuck is this other dragon? I was
was
like,
like,
no, and then you
fuck.
see the blue come up, and then it kind of like disorients them, and then they go
Yeah.
after him again.
Yeah, so the dragon fight is happening, and as that kind of finishes and you see the two dragons fall in the background,
Yeah.
John falls off, he lands somewhere, and Danny is also trying to
Yeah.
figure out what the hell's happening.
Yeah.
In
Because
this,
she's disoriented too, because obviously the storm, you can't see shit.
yeah, in this moment,
It's like driving in the winter in New York.
honestly, and in this moment, you see Theon defending Bran in the woods or whatever it's called.
At that big ass tree.
Yeah. So in this moment, Theon tries to come to terms with everything because he's like, I'm sorry for what I did. And then Bran's like, listen, if you didn't do anything you did in the past.
You wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And then Bran's like, you're home.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I never really got how the Greyjoy, how his dad basically gave him to the Starks. I was really
I
confused.
think he was a
about that.
prisoner
so
of
fuzzy.
war and then became he just became a Stark.
Yeah.
He got adopted. So there was that. And then Theon is obviously guarding Bran. He's shooting the
They
fire
had
arrows.
they had all the Greyjoys.
Yeah, the Greyjoys.
They had all the Greyjoys kind of surrounding the tree and Bran.
Made him
But-
look like a badass.
Yeah, one by one, you see them kind of like falling because there's like a fuck ton of White Walkers. So you see one by one Greyjoy like fall,
Yeah.
and then to the point where it's Theon and he's an archer, right?
Yeah.
So and then you see that point where there's no more arrows.
Yeah. And you knew that was it.
I thought he would have a sword.
Yeah. Oh, he had a spear, didn't he? Because he picked up a spear later on.
Yeah.
But we're going to get to that later. I want to talk about now the fourth death. Or no, fourth.
I don't know where the hell we're at. A lot of people.
Third death, whatever. So we're here now where Dany is off her dragon. This is the whole process of the
Yeah.
story. The Night King falls off his dragon too. They're both in the middle of a field somewhere, like right outside Winterfell.
Him and John are facing each other. I want to say they're like probably like a good 50 yards away from each other.
John is off his dragon. Dany is above the Night King, and they're kind of having a stare down.
Yeah, and they're like she's like burning people and stuff like that. So she goes and she Dracarys is the Night King,
and
thinking that he's gonna burn. I kind of was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then that's when the Night King kind of looks up at her and he smirks and he's like, "Ha, bitch, you would have thought."
the first sign of emotion from the Night King.
Yeah,
at all.
because you always saw him just stone faced.
Yeah. So he looks up and he's like, "Not today, bitch."
Word.
So then we get one of the biggest nail-biting moments of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
The Night King raises all of the Unsullied and all of the, I think they're
As
called-
John slowly like kind of starts kind of
he
like
realizes if this isn't the moment, I don't know what's gonna be.
yeah, so he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take it." And also, John killed the general.
Yeah.
So the Night King knows what John's capable of.
So as the dead are being raised, John
Mm-hmm.
is running full force at the Night King, knowing that if he even makes it remotely close, this could be the end.
Probably like 10 yards out.
Yeah.
Like he's fairly close, and then he's surrounded by all their fallen people, and then you see the leader of the Dothraki
He's up
horde
too.
people in there. You see him,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, oh fuck, like that's weird. So then John starts going like balls to the wall and starts slaying these people.
And that's when Dany
And
comes
then
in.
and then Dany sees, or she flies back around, and then she goes and she helps him and she burns the people, right?
And that's where we get the Dracarys and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a moment in which Drogon lands, and as the Night King goes off,
Mm-hmm. She took too long. She took way too long. She's a fucking
sitting.
idiot.
She was sitting there looking around. It's like, don't stay on the ground out of
Bitch,
all places.
yeah, that's why I was like, yo, she's too much on the ground for there to be like risen White Walkers.
So Drogon is kind of getting mobbed with zombies at this
He's
point.
getting shanked. I was like,
And you hear
fuck.
the like in his roar, like he's in trouble. He's
Yeah.
suffering. So he flies away.
She, after the fact that he basically makes her get off.
Yeah, he kind of
then
shakes her
yeah,
off,
and then
he just takes off.
Yeah, he takes off, but he's like, it's like ants to like a popsicle, bro. There's
Yeah.
just they're everywhere on him, and he's trying to shake. He's freaking the fuck out.
Fight or flight in that
Yeah,
moment.
and he was like, I'm gonna fly the fuck away because he's trying to, first of all, save Danny.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like, get all these things off of him. If you ever have had ants on you or any type of insect on you,
Even one spider, you're just kind of like,
it's uncomfortable. You're like, ah! Like, it's uncomfortable. So you're like, no. Like, get off. So then in that moment, Danny's stranded. She's by herself. She honestly, I was like, this bitch gonna die. But
She's
then
not
I was
a
like,
fighter either.
She's not.
I've never seen her pick up a sword aside from that moment.
Because she hasn't needed to.
Yeah, she
hasn't needed to because she's always had a stable, strong man by her side.
Yes.
So she's always had a dude with her.
And speak of a dude being with her,
Fucking Sir Jorah comes out.
Jorah out of nowhere comes out of just the blue and starts slashing walkers with Dany. But this is the moment in which I was like, I know it's over for him.
Yeah.
Because his whole arc of the story was, even back whenever he was at Khal Drogo's wedding, it was like, I'm going to stand by you. I'm going to defend you even if it kills me.
Yeah.
So they're fighting it off, and then it's just, it's over. There's too many people,
There's
many
too
White
many.
Walkers.
She doesn't know what the fuck is going on. She's freaking out.
She killed a walker, I think.
She, after the fact, like, yeah, after he was, like, getting, like, shanked, she picked up a sword and was like, all right, I don't know how to fucking hold this thing, but I'm gonna do it. And she held her own for the most part until Sir Jorah sadly dies.
There was a moment I think she picked up Jorah and
She had him in her arms.
and he's getting shanked as it is as she's holding him, which those would have been shots right to Dany.
Yeah.
But then we've lost Sir Jorah, and that was a very emotional moment. She's crying because now she lost the moral compass to her whole night, like her whole thing.
Yeah.
Because Jorah was the one that said to Dany, maybe you should go talk to Sansa. Maybe you should do this. Maybe and he's always been there since day one, really.
Yeah.
So there was that. Now we're following Jon through all of Winterfell. He's getting followed by Viserion, who's just lighting the place up with blue fire. There's fire spilling out of his mouth, which I thought that was an awesome shot because it's
because it's coming out.
it's very weird, very unhinged, very crazy. So now Jon is just basically trying to fight for his life and try to get to Bran because the Night King is already on his way. He kind of left them two and was like, I got bigger fish to fry, and started going after Bran.
But also, when the Night King raises the dead, he doesn't just raise the dead outside. Like you said, in the crypts, Sansa, all the women and children and old people are down there, right?
Yeah.
And she's bugging out. There was a little tussle down there with what's her face, the one with the curly hair. I can't remember her name.
Curly hair.
The translator chick.
Oh, I don't know her name.
I can't remember.
The Grey Worm's girlfriend.
Word.
That's all she is.
So she lost her title. So she's down there. Sansa's like this, that, and the third, and then this chick's like, if it wasn't for her, like we'd already be dead.
Yeah.
So she walks away because she's like, fuck you and your whole damn house.
Yeah.
Right. So then it cuts down to the crypts to where these people are, and then you see a hand break out, and I'm like, oh, thick. And then that's when the dead are risen. I really thought that Ned and like the main Starks were gonna pop out.
But they didn't. That's also a thing. I don't think they're buried there.
They might not be.
Catelyn got thrown in the river, apparently, after that whole debacle, the Red Wedding. The only one I think is buried there and who's
Lyanna.
Lyanna and Rickon. I think he's buried there.
Yeah.
So there was that, the whole thing in the crypts. I thought Sansa and Tyrion were going to kill themselves. I thought it was a suicide pact they were about to do.
No, I thought they were gonna like turn around and like start fucking shit up.
The way they looked at each other, I was like, they're either gonna kill themselves or one of them's gonna give each other up, or like, give themselves up for the other.
I felt like Tyrion would have been like, I will sacrifice myself for you because technically you my wife.
I thought that too. So there was that whole thing going on. I want to now move past the crypts and kind of get back to where the battle is taking place upstairs.
Before they get risen, before they get risen, you hear them upstairs.
Yeah.
You hear them upstairs banging on the door to open the crypts. No.
Yeah.
Don't do that because once you open that door and they start trickling in, that's it. You're done. It's over. Finished. You know, like if every scary movie has taught you something.
Yeah.
Don't open the damn door.
Yeah.
Don't be white. Don't open.
That's
don't
what they
be
do.
White.
They go exploring. They're like, oh, let's go look in the cemetery.
Especially when Arya, oh fuck, what door did she open? I was like, that's a white bitch thing. I was like,
Honestly.
if y'all don't know, I am not Caucasian.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then it pans down to the crypts, and then it comes back up to where Jon is. Like, there's no live people at this point.
All
upstairs.
hell is breaking loose around him. I mean,
Brienne is in one corner, Jaime's in another. Like, there's Grey Worm's there too. So it's like they're all spread the fuck out. And Jon's like, I need to get to my brother.
Yeah.
Right. And he tries, and he does ultimately, like, he gets halfway there.
The hero of the story was put under the most pressure, and that's Jon, obviously, because this is his arc, essentially. So all hell is breaking loose, and he's in the main courtyard, and Viserion's above trying to get him with the fire. So I'm going to kind of layer into the next moment, but Jon is pinned behind a rock.
Yeah.
And he kind of realizes, like, this is over.
Yeah.
Everything we've tried to work for, everything that happened, it's done. So I liked how Viserion just looks at him, and he just stands up, and he's like, do it.
Yeah.
It's over. But the final moment, like the big moment of the episode.
We go back to the little forest tree thing with Bran and then you see...
Bran and Theon had a moment.
Yes.
Theon
thought they were going to make out.
Yeah. Theon kind of realized that this is it. Mm-hmm. I'm not making it. Everything is just, it's done.
Yeah, he pledged himself to the Starks, and he even told his sister.
Yeah.
And his sister was like, if that's where your heart is, go on, brother.
So they had a nice moment. Bran like gave the apology. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's okay, Theon. You're a good man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cue the Night King coming in. Theon runs at
after the fact that they were surrounded by White Walkers.
Yeah. Theon runs at the Night King with a spear, knowing that it's either I'm going to hit him or I'm dead. Or essentially, I am dead.
But I feel like the way that he was running straight on, I was like, come on, bro. Like, do something different.
But
like,
he knew.
Yeah.
He knew. So
the Night King was like, swish.
The Night King got him. Theon drops. He's dead. But he looks down at Theon and kind of like, okay.
It's like, all right, you tried it.
Good
you
try.
Know, yeah.
Nice try. So then we get the moment where Arya essentially just sneaks up on the Night King.
Because Arya, once they're in the throne room with Melisandre and the Hound, what they do is she kind of just goes away. She starts running, and we don't see her for like a quick minute.
Yeah. And this is the moment we forgot.
Yeah. And then you see the Night King walking up and approaching Bran. Bran's like, all right. He's like, we all think we're like, all right, this is it. He gets to Bran, whatever. And then we see one of his long-haired generals with his bad bitch weave. And you see the right? And then he kind of looks and he's like, the fuck was it? There ain't no bird here. And then through the winterness, the darkness, you see Arya. But remember what her dance teacher, quote unquote dance teacher, taught her? Don't yell.
Yeah.
So she grabbed the Night King's attention by yelling, held the Valyrian dagger. I think it was the Valyrian steel dagger.
I want to hit on that too because
that was meant to kill her brother.
Exactly. The dagger that was meant to kill her brother.
Fucking Littlefinger's dagger
was used to defend him.
Yeah.
She drops the dagger.
She drops it from right to left hand, and she goes, shank you right in the heart.
Right where he was created. That's where they plunged the dragonglass dagger in. Night King drops. Everyone else falls. All the whites drop.
He turns into glass, or like essentially like ice.
So Arya is the chosen one. Mm-hmm. The battle is over, and now everyone's kind of like catching their breath here.
Yeah, because the White Walkers fall, and just whatever, everyone dies.
Morning comes, and everyone's just kind of like, we did it.
Yeah.
The final shot.
But Arya and Bran had a moment too.
Yeah, they looked at each other.
Yeah, I feel like she did kind of know that she might have been the chosen one because she was getting trained throughout the entire season, like all the.
They couldn't let that go to waste.
Series, yeah, like she was being trained for a purpose, and she found her purpose.
Yeah, so the final shot of the episode was Melisandre and Sir Davos. They had that moment.
Word. I thought he was gonna kill her.
I thought so too, but then she started walking away from
Yeah.
Winterfell. She took off her necklace and she dropped it to the floor.
Yeah, and you slowly see her aging. It's a split second, and if you didn't
Yeah.
catch it, you missed it.
Yeah.
Where her luscious red hair turns white. And if you guys remember in when is it? In one of the previous seasons,
She did the same thing.
she took off her necklace to go to sleep or something like that.
Something like that.
And you see her old. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, fuck, like, this bitch is mad old. So then you kind of, I called it. I was like, oh, she's going to,
Yep.
right?
Thanos.
So you see her, you see, wow. You see her walking into the distance, slowly, kind of like, she was walking all like, sexily
Yeah.
before as a young lady, as a young woman. And then you see her slowly age and then like kind of fall down to the ground because she's obviously old and crusty. And
Yeah.
then she falls over, poof, she's dust into the wind.
And with that being said, we did our best to try to cover the Battle of Winterfell, even though we've probably missed so much shit.
OD.
But you know what? I think that about does it here for Get Comfy on the Throne. I hope y'all enjoyed. We love doing these episodes because obviously we love Game of Thrones. If you like what we do here, go check out the Get Comfy Game Break every Friday morning, 10 a.m. on all major listening platforms. And if you like that too, the Get Comfy podcast always uploads Sunday morning, 10 a.m. on YouTube and all major listening platforms. And with that being said, winter has came and went, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.